Hi everyone and welcome back to the Tamaracade. And now I know it's been a while since last uploaded something, but there's been a lot of stuff going on just generally in my life. But hopefully from now on I should be making more videos regularly again. And I also just want to have a big celebration because I've recently went over 100 subscribers, which I never thought I'd do. Like, I thought that maybe I'd get 10 people when I started, some friends and family in real life. But the fact that I've got 100 people that watch it, and most of my 3 review videos, I think they're now either above or approaching 200 views. My last unboxing, that's over 100 views. My old Let's Plays from before I properly launched the channels, they're all over 50 views. So I'm really impressed how it's going. So we'll see how this goes. I've also got at the time of recording, about 130 followers on Twitter, which is amazing. So I just can't believe it. So just a big, huge thank you to all of you for supporting the channel and helping me do this. And yeah, it's just amazing, and it's so great talking to you all and just having a great time in the retro gaming community with everybody. So first off, I sent out a tweet when I had the idea for this video, saying if there's any questions that you'd want to ask for a little Q&A, and I did get a few. My first one was from HDE's Totally Unoriginal Gaming Show, which is a brilliant channel. Should definitely check it out. He's got such a great voice. You could just listen to him all day. Just talks about games. What more do you want? And he asked, "What is your favourite sandwich filling?" Now, this is quite a difficult question, but I must say that I absolutely love the combination of brie and cranberries. It's amazing. So if I have a brie and cranberry and a panini or something, I suppose that still counts as a sandwich, then absolutely love it. Thing is, that's something that's only more a wintry thing. You don't really see many cranberries in the summer. So I suppose that's one decent thing that winter has, that cranberries are regularly available. But other than that, talking more sort of traditional sandwiches. My mum used to make, well, she probably still does, the best egg sandwiches in the world. They're incredible. I've never had any other egg sandwiches that taste even close to those. So my mum's egg sandwiches would definitely be up there. And in a similar related question, Bloggo's pal, who has another brilliant channel, covers just playing loads of games from all sorts of systems, arcade, Amiga, Sega, Mega Drive, you name it, he does it. And he asked what I think of Heinz sandwich filling. Now, I've not tried that yet. I probably should have got some for this video, really, but I didn't. And the next question that I had was from Oddpod, who has a brilliant nostalgia channel, the #1 place for your 80s and 90s nostalgia, sorry. So it's him, and he also has all his friends like Murray and Brock and Rad, who are all his little fluffy puppet friends. Yeah, brilliant channel. Basically, if you were around in the 80s and 90s, you will enjoy that. So, all good stuff. And he asked, where is the next video? Well, it's here, I suppose. I am working on a couple of other things. I've got a Let's Play that I've recorded that I just need to edit together and upload. I'm doing that on an unreleased Atari 2600 game, so that should be coming very, very soon. And I've also scripted and captured all the footage for a review for the Game Gear Shinobi game, and so hopefully I'll be able to put that together and get it all done in the nearish future. And then I had another question, which was from KidCreo556, who asked, what do I think of the whole Stadia thing? So if you don't know, Stadia is the new gaming platform that's been announced by Google, and it's just a controller that you use with a streaming service. It's trying to go for the Netflix of gaming. I know that it's not the first time it's been done. There are other companies that do it. And basically what I think of it. Well, starting off, the controller looks, I don't know, just doesn't look quite it looks like it's trying to be an Xbox controller, but not doing a great job of it, and it doesn't look like it'd be the most comfortable thing to hold, but maybe I'm wrong. When I first saw a GameCube controller, I thought that looked like a nightmare, but then when I actually used it, I'm like, oh, it's so comfortable and really easy to use. So who knows, I could be wrong. I can't really judge a controller until I've used one. The next thing about it is, do I think it will catch on? Well, probably, because Google are a pretty huge company. They can, put money behind everything. I know that, a few years ago we were all going on about how Google Glass was going to change the world, and that never happened. So this might just be completely, dead before it even arrives like that was. Or maybe it will have some success, because I think that even though I am more of a retro gamer and I prefer to have my games on physical for a number of reasons, I know that that isn't important to a lot of people, and some people just want something that they can just go on and play a game, any game from. So I think it's a good idea, and it's really good. The main thing is we've got to see what publishers and developers actually get behind it and what games it makes, because just like any other gaming system that's ever been invented, if it doesn't have the games, it isn't going to succeed. There's just been so many things like that in the past. Look at the Apple Bandai Pippin. You'd think that those companies would have had enough money to put behind a console to get it successful, but they just didn't have the software library to back it up, so it just flopped. And yeah, it's been the same with numerous failed consoles, really. So if they can get the big publishers to make their AAA games for it, then I can't see why it wouldn't be. If you get EA and Activision and Ubisoft and Bethesda and all those on board, I think it could actually take off. Anyway, that's probably banging on about that a little too much. Now for next part of the video. I recently won a competition with the Grumpy Retro Gamers, GRG, and they have a brilliant channel. It's two guys just either playing games, talking about games, or talk about ridiculous eBay sellers, and they're really funny. Definitely watch their channel; you'll enjoy it. And there was a competition on Twitter to just just share a post that they did, and then everyone that did it was put into a random prize draw, and I went, yay! And they sent me a random retro game. I have no idea what this is. I've not opened it before. But here's the box here. It's got little Grumpy Retro Gamers logos and stuff on. So I'm going to open this up and finally find out what this has been. This has been absolutely killing me. I've been wanting to open this for a video, so this has just been sitting on my shelf unopened, and I've just been I need to know what this is. So I'm really glad I'm finally getting to do this video, so I can finally actually see what is in this. And then getting me some scissory-doos. So I might have to do a jump cut, because you're probably not going to want to see me spend a year trying to open a box. And it is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Master System. A brilliant game, absolutely love it. So it's fantastic. The Sonic games on the Master System are amazing. You definitely need to play them if you haven't. A lot of time when people talk about the Sonic games, they often say, oh, the Mega Drive ones are great and the Dreamcast ones are great, but then they sort of forget about the Master System and Game Gear ones, because they're essentially the same, although there were some Game Gear exclusive ones, but they're brilliant, the 8-bit Sonic games. Seriously, check them out. If you're a Sonic fan, you'll love these games. So here it is, complete with the manual. Very nice. And the cartridge. Not just any cartridge. It's a mega cartridge. So finally got to see what that is. And it's and it's still got the little sticker seal that's on the side, which is nice to see. So there we go, that's very nice. So thank you very much to Chris and Ben at Grumpy Retro Gamers for sending this to me. You know what? I think I'll do a Let's Play of this as well pretty soon. Just I can show you all my brand new game. Also time for just like a few other recent pickups. I've been on a bit of a NES and SNES kick recently, so I'll just show you a few bits and bobs that I've picked up, and let's have a look. Started off with the NES. I got a boxed NES Advantage, or NES Advantage, or Nintendo Entertainment System upper hand controller, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Yeah, so box complete. There's a weird, like, pedo homoerotic picture on the back that, like, creeps me out a bit. Yeah. But the controller itself, it's a really nice arcade stick. It's not micro-switched, unfortunately, which is a big, like, which is the biggest downer on it. But other than that, build quality, like, it's solid. It's got a metal base. It's got some serious weight to it. Big chunky buttons. Turbo fires. Although, like, it's strange that it has to plug into both controller ports. I don't know if it has to or whether it's just... I've not actually used it yet, but we'll see. Maybe it's just so you can easily, because there's something to switch it, so that if you've only got one and you're playing... Well, I suppose a lot of NES games where... like, take it in turns for two players, like Mario and stuff, so instead of... So if you've got two people that want to use this instead of getting two, you can just plug it in, hot swapping it or whatever, you can just switch it. So I need to give this a go. And next NES accessory I recently picked up was the NES 4-score adapter, so you can play 4-player games. It's just a multi-tap, as you can see, with all these mulleted kids on the back having a great time. Yeah, and this is in like excellent condition. Like, it's probably barely been used. To be fair, there weren't that many games on the NES that actually supported it anyway, so it probably didn't get a lot of use. I actually don't currently own any that do, so I'm going to need to so I can actually use it. And then I'm going to have to get 3 extra friends, which will be a pain in the bum. And anyway, and here is the unit itself. So you can just like leave it plugged in all the time and just selecting whether you want it to be 2 or 4 players, so that... Yeah, and it's also got like turbo controls built directly into it, which is kind of cool. It also like smells new. It's like, seriously, this has probably barely ever had any use. It smells like it's brand new, like I've just opened it from a sealed box. And now that might be a bit weird, but yeah, when I first opened it, I was just like, whoa, that smells new. And it plugs in with this. So it plugs into both controller ports, which is understandable. But it gives you the opportunity to use 4, so it's fine. And the instruction manual here, it's still in its like little plastic bag, in pretty much mint condition really. So yeah, quite happy to have that in my collection. You don't see them very often, especially in this good condition, boxed, complete, everything. And now if I've got a 4-player adapter, or needs 4-player game, and also 4 controllers, so I've got the 2 that came with the NES, I've got my NES Advantage that I've just shown you, so I'm going to need a 4th one, and that's where this one comes in. A boxed NES Max controller, NES Max, it doesn't matter how you say it, it's the same thing. It's got an 80s kid on the back that's having a great time. So this controller is... it looks quite a bit ahead of its time. It's got that sort of like crescent shape that basically is the standard in game controllers nowadays, and a thumbstick, which again is quite a standard thing. I don't believe it's an analog thumbstick. I think it's still digital. But I'll have to check. I don't know if it is analog, if anything would actually support it or not. But the controller itself, it's absolutely minuscule. Like, looking in the box, I thought it would be like kind of similar size to like, you know, a Mega Drive controller or something, but it's absolutely tiny. And it's got this like weird thumbstick here that doesn't seem to center. I don't know if that's how it should be or if it's just mine. I mean, this is like 30 years old, so if it, you know, it's just a bit dodgy, then I don't blame it. You know, it's also got turbo buttons on it. It actually feels quite nice in the hands, apart from for its size. I've got quite small hands, you know, and it feels quite tiny for me. So, you know, if you're like a big 6.5 foot hairy bloke with massive hands, then you probably wouldn't get on too well with this controller, I don't think. But yeah, at least now I've got something that I can use for 4 players. I need to give this a go at some point and see how it works and how it controls for things. Oh, and it also comes with a like instruction leaflet that folds out like a poster, and tells you how to play it in English, French, or Dutch. So there you go. So they call the little thumbstick a cycloid, and apparently it works the same as the control pad on the NES games controllers. Push down lightly while moving the cycloid in the direction you want to go. Yeah. So there we go. It's a cycloid. Apparently the start and select buttons will only work if you plug it into controller 1. Like the controller port 1 for some reason, which seems a bit bizarre. Well, what use is having a Nintendo Entertainment System if you don't have any games to go with it? So here's a few that I picked up recently. You're probably going to find it quite strange that I didn't actually own a box complete Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo Entertainment System until fairly recently. But yeah, I got this. It's one of the metal versions. If you're wondering why it's shiny, it's because I put it in a box protector. Just so to protect the box, obviously. And yeah, you can see there that it says Mattel, and that's because Mattel distributed the NES, and its games in Europe to begin with before Nintendo took over it for themselves. So this is like an early release of Super Mario Brothers, and you know, everyone knows this game. It's brilliant. If you've not played it, play it. It's basically it set the standard for how side-scrolling platformers should be, and its influence is still felt in games today. Yeah. all I need to say about it, really. I've got another one of these Mattel NES games, and see, I'm doing it now. I keep switching between NES and NES. I don't know. I suppose just to keep everyone happy, maybe just say NES, or just say, I don't know, European version of the Famicom. I don't know. Whatever. It really doesn't matter. So anyway, pinball. I love this game. It's very bare bones and basic pinball game, but it's so much fun. I had this for the Game Boy Advance as a kid on cards that are used with the Game Boy Advance e-reader. So just swipe in some cards and then it plays games. I don't know if it actually contains the data on the cards or if it's just unlocking it from the data that's in the e-reader and then just playing it. And yeah, I used to rack up some insanely high scores. I got so good at this as a kid, so maybe I'll try and do that again and maybe even attempt to a world high score or something, who knows. Yeah, and it's also, as you can see, Mario makes an appearance, but that's only in like the sort of bonus stages. The rest of the time it looks more like this. Oh, you can see the reflection. Also, got some SNES stuff recently. So here's one that's going to have divided opinion. It's Doom. I know that Doom is a classic game. It's one of the most important video games of all time. It basically gave birth to the PC Master Race back in 1993 when it first released. It's, you know, one of the most influential and important games in history. But this is a SNES version, which did use the Super FX chip to give it a bit more beef. But it is known to run a bit slow and sluggish and have a bit of a like dodgy frame rate and things like that. So yeah, it's generally not considered the best way to play Doom today. But I suppose if you're back in the 90s and well, you only had a SNES and you didn't have a PC, because PCs would, you know, a PC that could play this would have been much more expensive than a SNES back then. So it would have done the job. You would have got your Doom fix, possibly. So apparently it features 16 megs of raw adrenaline. Yeah, here's the back of the box. Again, these are in box protectors. I'm sorry I've not taken them out. It's a bit of a faff. Next one is Super Star Wars, and this is a game that I have played before I got this, and yeah, I really quite enjoyed it, although it's very difficult. It's like, that sand call a bit, like quite close to the start of the game is pretty infuriating. So it's a tough as balls game, but it's Star Wars. You gotta love it. It looks really nice. Yeah, and it basically follows the plot of A New Hope, and yeah, you play as Luke Skywalker and or other character, or Han Solo. I think you can also play as Leia later on, or Chewbacca. I don't know. I've never gotten that far. Well, it says join Luke, Han, and Chewbacca on the back, so I suppose you can. I've never been able to get past the Luke bits personally, so I probably need to give this another go and see how far I can get. And yeah, it's just a solid but good game. Next up is a Konami title, Cybernator. I love this sort of silver boxes that they used to package the Konami NES and SNES games in, so I really like it. Although it was handled by a subsidiary Powercom, so it says that on the side. Yeah, so this is you play as a huge mech and you got to go and shoot bad mechs. So apparently set in the year 2065 AD, and the nations of Earth have once again split into two major powers. Okay, so that kind of, yeah, probably sounds like what the world's going to actually be like by 2065 AD, so that's nice. It says all box complete. It's got really cool artwork of a big mech shooting people. What more do you want from a game? And lastly, Stunt Race FX. I really like this game. I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea. Some people like it, some people don't. I absolutely love it, and when I got it, I plugged this in and played it, and I completed everything on it and unlocked the secret motorbike character. So yeah, it's like an untextured polygon racing game, but all the cars are anthropomorphized a bit, and they've all got eyes and a face. I really enjoyed this game. So yeah, it was also another Super Effects game. I seem to have a bit of a thing for the Super Effects games. So it's a game that really, I played this back as a kid. It was because there was one time when my brother borrowed his friend's SNES and a bunch of games, and this was one of them. And playing this and seeing that it was a fully 3D game running on a SNES was just incredible. It just blew my mind. I was like, how is that even possible? It's a 16-bit console. But it can run this. I know later on that the Super Effects chip really helped it out, but yeah, a game that I enjoy. So I've had some of the bits and bobs, but I just thought to keep the length down. I'll just keep it to NES and SNES because that's the most things that I've had most of recently. So, and of course, the Master System Sonic 2 game that I got from Grumpy Retro Gamers. So a big, huge thank you again to them for sending it to me. Amazing channel, check them out. So another big thank you to those who contributed to the Q&A section of this video. So make sure you go and check out their channels. So you've got Oddpod, who, like I said, is the #1 place to go for your 80s and 90s nostalgia. So if you're into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or classic Pokemon or Pogs or any of that kind of things, you want to go there. Great channel. Also, Bloggo's pal. So if you're into just retro games in general, check out his channel. He covers a lot of them, doing stuff like underrated Konami arcade games, which is really good to watch, and Also, things like Sega's arcade games that like conversions on the Amiga and how they play and stuff like that. So it's really interesting. You get to see it and learn a lot about games that you may not have otherwise knew about and things. And also check out HDE's Totally Unoriginal Gaming Show, where he covers, well, all kinds of old retro games and some even more currenty ones. Like, he recently did a video on Resistance Fallen Man for the PS3, which was... I really enjoyed that video because I loved that game, and it was the game that made me want to get a PS3 because my brother had got one way back when it first came out, and it was with that game as a launch title, and played that, and I was like, I want to get one of these. But because I was just like a kid at the time and didn't have any money, it took me like, I think like 3 or 4 years later before I actually got a PS3 of my own. But one of the first games I made sure to pick up was Resistance Fallen Man. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed playing it even then. And yeah, so it's a great video. Also, it's got stuff like battleships on the Game Boy, which is a really interesting video because it's a game that you wouldn't really expect anyone to really talk about. So it's really good to see it being covered, really. And yeah, and a big thank you to you all for watching and for you all to subscribing, and hopefully get some more videos to you soon. And yeah, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Hey, I found that the Grumpy Retro Gamers sent along a few extra goodies along with the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Master System game, so I think I'll just show them to you here. So I got these really cool looking business cards. I really like how they're like square shaped instead of the, you know, the traditional kind of oblong sort of thing, and plus this really awesome Ministry of Retro Gaming keyring. I think it's 3D printed and it looks really cool, so I'm really happy to have that, and that's going to go straight on my keys as soon as possible. And make sure you check out the Ministry of Retro Gaming and all the ministers, including the Grumpy Retro Gamers themselves. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!